Whether you call her Sasha Fierce, Queen Bee, or simply Beyoncé, there's no denying she's one of the biggest stars around.
Beyoncé! Beyoncé!
Beyoncé! Beyoncé!
But just what is it about this celeb that has the beehive buzzing so hard?
Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time!
Beyoncé Giselle Knowles was born in Houston, Texas, and yes, that's her real name. It's a tribute to her mother Celestine Knowles' maiden name Beyoncé. Her father is Matthew Knowles, and you've probably heard of her sister Solange Knowles, who is famous and fabulous in her own right. Beyoncé's childhood dance teacher Darlette Johnson Bailey claims that even from a young age, Queen Bee was hustling harder than anyone else. Darlette says she was floored when a young Beyoncé finished singing a song she was humming and hit every last high note. Soon, a 7-year-old Beyoncé was winning her first talent show with her moving rendition of Imagine by John Lennon. To make the victory even more impressive, Beyoncé was up against a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds. Being defeated by a kid might be embarrassing, but if that kid grows up to be Beyoncé, then it's actually an awesome story. After all, who can really compete with Queen Bee? When she was 8 years old, she and her pal Kelly Rowland joined a girls group called Girls Time, which is spelled like neither the spice nor what you tell by reading a clock. In addition to Beyoncé and Kelly, the group was made up of Lativia Robertson, Tamar Davis, and sisters Nikki and Nina Taylor. Matthew Knowles quit his lucrative job as a Xerox salesman to manage the group, but this move slashed the family's income in half overnight. Tina and Matthew were forced to sell their home and move into separate apartments. One of his first moves as manager was paring down the size of the group, leaving just his daughter Beyoncé, Kelly, Latavia, and LaToya Luckett. Although this group was undeniably talented, that doesn't mean they didn't have to work. Instead of splurging on practice space, they worked out routines in Tina Knowles' salon. Tina also made many of their costumes and red carpet ensembles since high-end designers didn't want to work with black country curvy girls, according to Beyoncé. The group went through tons of costumes and a few name changes before calling themselves Destiny's Child, inspired by the Book of Isaiah.
We're here at the Isles of MTV, and we are here with Destiny's Child once again.
Beyoncé's talent has always been undeniable since she was a little kid, but just how hard was she pushed to become the superstar she is today? According to her cousin, Angela Beyoncé, she was a humble and quiet child who would rather be doing cartwheels in the park than taking the stage. But as far as her father was concerned, nothing short of stardom was an option. And Beyoncé wasn't the only member of the group he was putting pressure on. Kelly Rowland has admitted that he used to drive her to tears with his harsh criticism of her dancing. Latavia claims he did not mince words, and that kind of criticism at such a young age was difficult to withstand. She's compared him to a drill sergeant and claims Beyoncé was the only one who could ever stand up to him.
We were having problems for a while now.
But when Latavia and LaToya did try to hold their own against Matthew, they found themselves ousted from the group.
We separated so suddenly. That's
like the drop of a hat.
Following hits like No No No, Bills Bills Bills, and their first #1 song Jumpin' Jumpin', Latavia and LaToya believed Matthew was holding on to way too much of their money. When they tried finding outside management who would represent their interests, Matthew quickly replaced them with Michelle Williams and Farrah Franklin just in time to start filming the Say My Name music video.
What's up, I'm Kelly.
I'm Beyoncé.
Michelle. I'm Farrah.
And we're Destiny's Child.
Needless to say, this caused a lot of drama, and unfortunately the media was quick to paint Beyoncé as a villain who pushed them out of the group. She may be a survivor, but Beyoncé was devastated and admits this was the darkest time in her career. Although she put on a brave face, behind closed doors she was so depressed she often struggled to eat for days at a time. Farrah later left the group, alleging the stress from the situation was too much for her and the group had become toxic. But according to Beyoncé, Farrah was sent packing because of her repeated absences. Despite all the drama, Destiny's Child was a massive success, churning out hits like Independent Woman Part 1, Survivor, and Bootylicious, which went straight to the top of the charts. But being the modern Renaissance woman that she is, Beyoncé also tried her hand at acting, starting with Carmen, a hip-opera. She's also appeared in movies like Austin Powers and Goldmember, Obsessed,
I think I need to be alone there.
And of course, Dreamgirls. And she's still captivating audiences to this day with projects like The Lion King and Homecoming. Long before Beyoncé met her now husband Jay-Z, she had an incredible career of her own filled with chart-topping music and impressive acting credits. The two liked to remain hush-hush about the early days in their relationship, but people assumed they were dating when they worked together on '03 Bonnie and Clyde. Destiny's Child was focusing on their solo careers and B's was, well, to quote a Destiny's Child song, jumpin' jumpin'. Sure, we all know Jay-Z is a big deal, but part of what makes these two such a power couple is that so is Beyoncé. Her first solo album, Dangerously in Love, won 5 Grammys at a ceremony she performed at alongside Prince. Seriously, does it get any better than that? Meanwhile, another man in B's life just couldn't keep his name out of the headlines. Yes, we're talking about Matthew Knowles, her father. Just like Latavia and Latoya, Beyoncé would later fire her father over allegations that he had withheld money from her. He and Tina went through a long, messy divorce, during which time he was slapped with a paternity suit from another woman. And yes, he is the father. Not only does he have a son named Nixon, but he has a daughter named Coy Knowles with another woman. Both of these moms have taken Matthew to court for failure to pay child support, and these are far from his only lawsuits. He's also been taken to task by the IRS and for tax firms he hired to deal with his IRS problems. Hindsight may be 20/20, but we're thinking firing Matthew was probably a good career move on B's part. Beyoncé and Jay-Z got married, but it wasn't until their daughter Blue Ivy arrived that there was a major shift in her career. Before getting pregnant with Blue, Beyoncé suffered a devastating miscarriage, which Jay-Z sings about in the song Glory. She's called it the saddest thing she ever went through and admits it was traumatic for the young couple. A few months later, Beyoncé became pregnant with Blue, and we all know how that ended, with a beautiful little mini Beyoncé. This was when Beyoncé and Jay-Z started to incorporate more of their relationship into their careers, and their audience loved it. The Miss Carter Show World Tour wasn't only Beyoncé's most successful tour, but it's one of the most successful careers of all time. It helped make her the highest paid Black musician in history in 2014. Sharing their love with their fans was one thing, but this open and honest attitude was tested in the light of an incident which could have ended their marriage. Yes, we're talking about Lemonade. Everyone knows about this incredible concept album. It was the best-selling album of 2016 and sold over 3 million albums in the US alone. It also takes a painfully raw look at the relationship between Jay-Z and Beyoncé and how his infidelity affected their marriage. And of course, Jay-Z's response to Lemonade was 444. He claimed being public about his infidelity was uncomfortable, but likens it to being in the eye of a hurricane, safer than being caught in the fury of the storm. And when the storm cleared, Beyoncé revealed that she was pregnant again, this time with twins. But although her pregnancy photo shoot is flawless, there were some serious complications behind the scenes which put mom and babies, Rumi and Sir, in serious danger. Beyoncé suffered from preeclampsia and her body swelled up to 218 pounds. She ended up on bed rest for over a month and had to undergo an emergency C-section.
And the greatest living entertainer, Beyoncé.
We could talk about Beyoncé's accomplishments and triumphs all day, or for several days really, there are a lot of them. But it's harder to explain why she's become so much more than an entertainer. She's pretty much a one-woman institution at this point. Just what is it about Beyoncé that inspires so much passion and devotion from her fan base? Many stars play it safe by keeping their personal lives, political beliefs, and private thoughts to themselves. This reduces the risk of alienating fans, makes handling their relationships easier, and gives them at least the illusion of privacy. But Beyoncé is not one of these stars. In fact, the more she showed off her personal life, the more fans go crazy, as we saw with her Miss Carter Show World Tour and Lemonade. She's not shy about talking about her political beliefs and is a big fan of the now former President Barack Obama, even performing at his presidential inauguration in 2009. But is Beyoncé losing any sleep over the people who disagree with her? Considering she and Jay-Z have a net worth of over $1.6 billion, we're guessing not. Jay-Z once compared their marriage difficulties to being a storm, but in reality, Beyoncé's career has been one perfect storm. She has an absolutely undeniable talent and has been pushing herself to be better and work harder since she was a kid. She's never been one to sit back and coast, and she's come a long way since designers didn't want to dress her for high-end events. Beyoncé definitely has the last laugh there. Not only do she and her mother have the House of Darion fashion line, but she owns the activewear line Ivy Park. And she doesn't just use all her money and power to treat herself to lavish vacations and clothes, although she definitely does that too. She's been named the most charitable celebrity of the year in 2016 and regularly promotes and funds causes she believes in. Beyoncé has put herself out there in ways that are both bold and risky, but they've paid off for her big time.
And the Grammy goes to Drunken Love, Beyoncé featuring Jay-Z.
She's way more than just a singer or just Jay-Z's wife. She's Queen Bee, and we can't wait to see what she comes up with next. What do you think is the secret to Beyoncé's massive amount of success? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section and then click on the subscribe button for more great videos from us here at The Taco. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.